This is something that I think most were expecting. Certainly thought we would hear about a Jawan Taylor cut before we did Mike Dana. But here we are, right? This was a move, though, that no matter the timeline of it and who was cut first and who wasn't, I think many Chiefs fans, myself included, anticipated this move, right? He was making quite a bit of money. I think his salary for next year was about $11 million with a cap hit of $2 million if they were to cut him. So you're saving $9 million by releasing Mike Dana. And as much as I can appreciate what Dana brought to this Chiefs team from a winning philosophy standpoint, right? This guy was a part of 2 Super Bowl winning teams. He was on this squad for 6 years. I mean, drafted in 2020 and with the team for every season after that, making 49 starts, playing in 87 games. You can't argue with the lack of production, right? His 4th year in 2023, when his rookie deal expired, he had 6.5 sacks. And at 26 years old, you're thinking, okay, he might be able to build upon that, having the best year of his young career. Let's see what he can do in a second contract. Well, followed that up with a struggled season in 2024. He dealt with injuries. He only had 3.5 sacks. And then last year, more injuries. He missed 2 games because of it. And he managed 1 sack and 25 total tackles.
Regressed a little last 2 years.
Yeah, 3 TFLs. Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at a guy who had 4.5 sacks over 2 years, when in 2023 alone he had 6.5, that's a notable regression for somebody that you're paying a decent amount of money to. And when you're in a situation like the one the Chiefs are in right now, this sort of salary cap gauntlet that they're going through, sometimes you have to, and I for lack of a better term, trim the fat. As much as I hate to use that turn of phrase, it's about the best one you can come up with in this situation. He's not going to be the last one. I mean, the Jawan Taylor news will come down the pike sooner rather than later, right? I was about 85% confident that Mike Dana was going to get cut. I'm about 95% confident that Jawan Taylor is.
You're only at 95 because I'm at 100. So
100% that he should, 95% that he will. Like this weird scenario where the Chiefs are like, well, he's been a starter for 2 years, so we're going to cut Jalen Moore instead or something wild and save less money. Monetarily, it makes absolutely no sense to do it that way. It makes all the sense in the world to cut Jawan Taylor. But I guess I've learned at this point not to be 100% confident in anything that the Chiefs might do. Dating all the way back to when they had a Pro Bowl starting quarterback and they traded up to take a dude at quarterback with the 10th overall pick. As much as I loved the move at the time, and we've all grown to love the move, I was shocked when the Chiefs traded up to take Patrick Mahomes after Alex Smith had come off of a Pro Bowl year in 2016. It was the absolute right move, but it surprised people.
This is about as sure a bet as you're going to find out, I think.
I'm with you. The question becomes, really, who might the Chiefs part ways with beyond Mike Dana and presumably Jawan Taylor? And there's one name that I keep coming back to that I don't want to see him go, but it makes sense in the grand scheme of things, and that's Drew Tranquill.
Yep.
He's got a $7.5 million salary for next year. His cap hit right now sits at $1.5 million. So that's another $6 million that you save. You saved around $40 million in restructuring Mahomes. You're saving $9 million with Dana. You're going to save $20 million by cutting Jawan Taylor. So between those three, that's what, $69 million? You cut Tranquill, $75 million that you freed up from a situation where you were $50 million in the hole. And now, it changes things dramatically, I think, for this Kansas City Chiefs team. I mean, between the cutting of Mike Dana and restructuring of Patrick Mahomes, you've already taken your salary cap. You're now only $6 million in the red. You were $51 million in the red a week and a half ago. Cut Jawan Taylor. Hey, all of a sudden, you're looking at a situation where you're $14 million in the black. Cut Drew Tranquill, $20 million at your disposal to do other things. And they may not be done with this. You may not be done with the restructurings that could take place, right? I mean, there's a lot of conversations about could they still restructure Chris Jones's contract. I'm a little hesitant on that move because of the
that's
out.
when you got to eat.
Especially because he has an out in his contract after next season, where if the regression does continue, you can maybe do a cut and re-sign, or maybe restructure it then, add an additional year, and spread some of that money out a little bit. So, I don't know.
If they do, I don't know that's going to be one I think they do at the back end of things, depending on what they do in free agency. It opens up. They have enough holes as it is, and I don't know that amount of money is worth cutting him at this point. And again, you're just opening up another hole, right? And you have Leo Chanel, who also, they're going to have to fill that hole already. So then you're decimating your linebacker core as well. Is it possible? Yes. I'd almost put it at I don't know, if we're talking percentages, maybe a 30% chance of them making that move. But I think there's other moves to make before you go down that road.
Another name that kind of jumps out just from certainly makes some sense for this Chiefs team. Outside of that, there are no moves that pop. I mean, Nick Bolton, no, your dead cap hit's more than the cap hit is. Same with, obviously, Creed Humphrey and Karlaftis and McDuffie. Christian Fulton, you'd save $5 million with that situation, but you got a lot of questions with your DBs right now. So maybe parting ways with more corners when there's this lingering thought that they might trade Trent McDuffie.
I was going to say it all depends on that. That's a big.
And if Jalen Watson signs elsewhere, right, he's going to he's a free agent, so he may not re-sign with this Chiefs team. There's a lot going on. 913-586-7965. We got some messages in the text line. I'll take a look at those as we talk some Chiefs with the news of Mike Dana officially being released by the team today. What more moves are coming down the pike? What moves should we not expect? Because Brett Veach told us today the plan is not to trade Trent McDuffie if he had it his way. We'll discuss that next. Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez, After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by AB May. Trust AB May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
I love spending time outside at our house, but I noticed some paint was starting to peel. So I called CertaPro Painters to give us a fresh touch-up. We use CertaPro Painters inside and out at our place, and you should do the same. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. So schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, CertaPro.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays. That's what I do. I love it a lot. Live betting and more. Earn BetMGM reward points on every single bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else, and keep an eye out for your rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. So again, sign up with bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsible. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Tonight, expect a low of 38 with mostly cloudy skies.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
Hey guys, it's Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. We're excited to launch Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dana and Parks. This is about Kansas City, not about soccer. Telling the story of how our town ended up hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, plus video clips on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
Subscribe to Beyond the Pitch KC on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
After Hours, 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. We're taking a look at our text line, 913-586-7965. I got a 913 who says that re-signing Nick Bolton and Trey Smith is what killed the cap situation for the Kansas City Chiefs. Both of them were terrible moves. I don't want to say they were terrible because they're two quality football players, especially at their respective positions. I know that we give Bolton a hard time, and rightfully so, for some of the struggles in the pass coverage game. But he's as sure a tackler as you're going to find in professional football, and he is an extremely smart football player. I mean...
Yeah, but it's hard to completely disagree with that.
No, I mean,
text.
you're right. You're right. And Trey Smith, when he's healthy, he may be... I mean, he's certainly, I would say, a top 5 right guard in football. But at his best, he might be the best right guard in football. However, the amount of money that they're paying him to play a position such as right guard, which isn't, the highest valued position in the game of football, especially on offense or on the offensive line for that matter, I don't disagree. I think it's a situation where, I don't know, and I don't want to be, I guess I do want to be a little bit harsh in a situation where...
Rightfully so, after this last season, right?
There has been a certain level of loyalty shown that I feel like goes maybe a step beyond what is reasonable, if that makes any sense. Like, giving Chris Jones the contract that they gave him at that stage of his career has not been a benefit to this Chiefs team. You give Trey Smith that massive contract this past offseason, and he deals with the injury issues, which were a big part of why he fell to the 6th round in the NFL draft when he was coming out of the University of Tennessee. Whether that becomes a long-term concern or not, I'm not going to jump the gun on that situation. But it does make your ears prick up a little bit. You're okay. That's not great. That doesn't feel fantastic.
What do you have any? I find it interesting, some of these rumors of the Chiefs being interested in Rasheed Walker, the Green Bay Packers lineman, left tackle.
I've seen that as well.
Have you seen that? This kind of fits into that conversation. Do we know why that's the case?
No, I mean,
I don't. Doesn't really fit.
You look at some of the
not a puzzle piece that kind of fits with.
You look at the analytics.
Yeah,
he's right next to Jalen Moore in pretty much any analytic you look at over the last couple of seasons. If you're gonna go out and get Rasheed Walker, you're gonna have to cut probably both Jalen Moore and Jawan Taylor. It's going to dismantle a little bit of the
not to
depth
mention
that you've created.
He's a left tackle, didn't play right tackle in college. I'm assuming you'd have to move him to right tackle, right? That would be the reason they'd sign him.
Correct.
Unless there's something else going on the left side that we're not aware of.
Yeah, and I mean, did he not just start every game for the Packers at left tackle this past season?
Correct. Makes me a little nervous, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of it that I struggle with in that situation because so you're now, for the 3rd consecutive year, going to be taking a guy and putting him in a position he's never played before. You did it 2 years ago, late in the year, moving Joe Thuney over to left tackle for that end of season push and the playoff run. Last year, it was moving Kingsley Suamataia to left guard, as well as playing Jalen Moore at right tackle several times when he had gotten all of his NFL and college snaps at left tackle for the most part anyway. So now you want to do that same thing again, sign a left tackle and move him to right tackle. I would be much more comfortable if you just cut Jawan Taylor, maybe found a right tackle with some level of experience that you could pick up in free agency for probably not the vet minimum, but maybe a little bit beyond that, 1.5, 2, somewhere like that, just to create more depth. But, I don't know how much of an upgrade Rasheed Walker would be for the Chiefs at left tackle if he even was one. And he'd be a very expensive roll of the dice for the Kansas City Chiefs. I would be much more comfortable. Cut Jawan Taylor. If you can find somebody, great. If not, roll with Jalen Moore as your right tackle and pick up somebody in free agency to be a depth piece, or maybe you draft a right tackle late. I don't know. But yeah, I would not be thrilled by the idea. One of the thoughts I had was cut Jawan Taylor, and maybe you could try to bring Andrew Wiley back as a depth piece. But that's out the window now. The Washington Commanders just gave him a 2-year extension. So he's off the board. That's not going to happen. He might have been a little bit expensive for a depth piece option anyway. Yeah, I'm not buying in a whole lot to the situation with Rasheed Walker, and I don't know.
It's just interesting that was even thrown out there to begin with. So
yeah. Didn't he just get, if I remember right, and maybe I'm speaking completely out of it, wasn't Rasheed Walker arrested recently?
That I'm not aware of.
I'm fairly certain. Yes.
Oh, yep.
In January, he was arrested on firearms charges at the LaGuardia Airport in New York.
That's right. January, huh?
He voluntarily presented his firearm for proper inspection, but he did not have the proper credentials. Now, his lawyer says that Walker's out-of-state firearm license is not recognized in New York and that he expects all charges to be dismissed. So, not an egregious situation.
Yeah, but considering the last couple of off seasons, you'd think that's something we Chiefs would want to stay away from. But
yeah, and again, I mean, I got an 816 says, why would we sign another team's Jawan Taylor? That's basically what Rasheed Walker would be. No one lets good tackles just walk. I don't know if he's a bad offensive tackle. I would argue that Jawan Taylor is not a bad offensive tackle. He has a penalty issue. But even that was incrementally better this year than it was last year. I think we can all admit that the penalties were a lot less frequent during the 2025 season than the 2024 season. I don't know. I mean, it felt like last year you brought in Jalen Moore and then drafted Josh Simmons, and Jalen Moore sort of became the de facto replacement for Jawan Taylor after this past season ended because he was just the bang for your buck made no sense. And now you're talking about doing it again? I just don't I can't say I'm with it. And there's some that are saying Rasheed Walker could get $20 to $25 million a year.
That's crazy.
The Chiefs cannot afford to pay that.
No.
Not when you have other positions of major need right now.
Way too many other problems to deal with. Correct.
And that includes the running back position, which I'm sure there are many Chiefs fans today disappointed by the fact that their running back option is in no way, shape, or form going to be a member of the Kansas City Chiefs next year. We'll discuss that next. After hours here on your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by A.B. May. Trust A.B. May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
This is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Seid of Rob Seid Ford. Fresh off a record-breaking year and a successful run at Ford's 2025 Top Volume Award. Rob, how did you do it?
Kevin, it's simple. We pulled out all the stops on price, on trade values, on inventory, and made sure our customers got an experience they couldn't find anywhere else.
Well, the race isn't over. 2026 is here, and you're back in the chase again.
That's right, and we're going even harder this year. More inventory, more aggressive trade-in values, and a buying experience other dealers just can't match.
Well, you're not just talking, you've got the receipts. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in Kansas City by KC Magazine.
The recognition matters, but what actually matters is how you feel when you call or visit Rob Seid Ford.
Inventory, value, transparency, and no pressure. That's why people keep coming back.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit us online at robsight.com.
Rob Seid Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
My friends at Smokehouse Barbecue have two new items that you need to try. First, meet the Pickle Jack Sandwich. We're taking tender smoked ham and melted pepper jack cheese, piled high with our signature pickle fries. It's crunchy, spicy, and smoky as well. And if you need to warm up, how about some Smokehouse chili? It's not your average recipe. It's loaded with our famous chopped burnt ends and savory sausage. And don't forget carryout, which you can order at SmokehouseBBQ.com. Visit Smokehouse Barbecue at Independence, Zona Rosa, and Gladstone. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show, February 27th through March 1st at the Overland Park Convention Center. Get front door bonuses like 5 Great Life golf rounds, Golf to Mules National, free balls, sim time with Barry's Golf and Groove, and Birdie's Indoor Golf. And get an Advent Health Championship ticket, all while they last. Saturday the 28th is Women's Day, presented by Elevated Home Team and Keller Williams Realty Partners. Test drive Callaway, Mizuno, Cleveland, and more with Golf MD. See the new RMI carts. Play the Edwards Jones Straight Drive, Genesis of Kansas City Long Putt, and the Midwest Golf Innovation Simulator. Get lessons with Imperial Golf. Roll it with Extreme Green and Evolved putters. Relax in Yingling Flight's 19th hole. Savor samples from Tito's Vodka and Booth Creek Wagyu. All at the Golf Show, February 27th through March 1st at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to Lake of the Ozarks Golf Trail. Visit Mississippi, Old Kinderhook, and Mulligan's Country Club. Kids under 12 are free. Tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com. Clogged drains? Call your service tech from AB May to keep your plumbing systems running properly. From drain clearings to sewer line repairs, we deliver reliable solutions with unmatched care and professionalism. Right now, we're offering a $59 drain clearing special. Trusted by generations of Kansas City homeowners, AB May is committed to doing things the right way every time. Call 913-732-9993 or visit abmay.com.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
Staples presents That Was Easy. So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures. Everything and then some. I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus. One money pit with a side of fries. But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders. $125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
For anybody who hasn't gotten the news yet and is holding out hope that Breece Hall will become a Kansas City Chief, it gives me no pleasure to be the one to bring this news to you. The New York Jets said today he ain't going anywhere. Darren Mogi, the general manager for New York, says he will be a member of the New York Jets next season. They're hopeful that it will be because of a long-term deal, but they are prepared to franchise tag him if they cannot get that deal done. I don't know why Breece Hall would ever agree to an extension of any kind with the New York Jets.
They better be paying him very handsomely.
I mean, the way that
even then,
the way that the season for Breece Hall was handled this past year, with them trading away basically every other meaningful member of that roster, and it seemingly being a thing that Breece Hall was going to get traded. I mean, he was prepared for it. He was on social media talking about getting traded. And then the trade deadline comes and goes, and he's still a New York Jet. And he was not happy about it.
Well, and the fact that they're not going to have, yet again, any semblance of a quarterback in this next upcoming year. I mean, again, the second-rated quarterback purposely went back to college so that the Jets wouldn't draft him. There's no quarterbacks in free agency that they're going to sign, so they're going to have another probably 3 to 4 win season at high-end 3 to 4 wins this year, so good luck for him. That sucks, man. That franchise tag can be a bear sometimes.
Yeah, they're saying that the salary for the tag is expected to be in the $11 million range.
It's not enough.
That's for a transition tag is what they're saying, rather than a franchise tag, which would be about $14.5 million. It would not entitle the Jets to compensation if another team successfully signs him to an offer sheet. So, I guess you're not technically out of the running if the Jets put him on a transition tag at $11 million and the Chiefs offer him a 3-year, $36 million deal at $12 million. It's
possible.
The Chiefs could be the ultimate winner there. They have an option to match the deal, or they could rescind it if they don't plan to go that route. The deadline to use either tag is on March 3rd, which is that next Thursday? I want to say.
That's next third is next Tuesday.
So next Tuesday.
So they've got a week.
We shall see. It's going to be an interesting one. I imagine that they'll just hold on to him.
I mean, they're going to have to offer him top end money as far as like maybe like a Christian McCaffrey type deal to keep him and sign him long term.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way imaginable that Breece Hall signs a long term deal.
Yeah, I mean,
even at 25 years old, you can tell that man is fed up with the Jets organization.
They've already, to me, run him into the ground.
Woody Johnson's a weird guy. He runs his team based off Madden Sims. That might be putting it generously.
Yeah, that's very accurate. That's correct.
I think somebody should get Woody Johnson Madden because that might make him a little bit better at his job as the owner of this organization. I think he would leave the Jets for $1 more. I think you're right. He might.
Yeah.
He might. But then it becomes a matter, if they put him on either one of these tags, if the team offers him a deal, the Jets have an opportunity to match, right? And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs offered 3 for $36 if
they'd match.
The Jets matched it.
They absolutely
I
would
absolutely
match that.
think they would.
Yeah.
And I would not be overly comfortable with the Chiefs offering any more than that, especially because
Agreed.
I think there are other guys out there that make sense, right? Make more sense, I should say. I think, and I stand by it, it's never going to happen, and I know that, but a boy can dream, can't he? I think Kenneth Walker is an absolute Rembrandt in this offense. He is the perfect fit, but there's no way Seattle lets him walk. I just can't. I can't picture it.
No.
You're coming off a Super Bowl win. You have decent money still at your disposal. I think they're top 10 in the NFL in salary cap space right
that's
now.
Correct.
It's not like you got to pay a quarterback. Keep Kenneth Walker around. Zach Charbonnet is going to miss most, if not all, of next year because of the ACL tear that he suffered in the postseason. It makes all the sense in the world to keep him around. The other name that I have warmed up to more and more that I wasn't overly convinced of it at first. Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I know.
It makes more and more sense to me every day.
It does. It still scares me.
I don't disagree.
I don't. He's a good back. He is, but I don't know that he's that explosive. And I think the Jags put a lot of wear and tear on him as well.
Especially, I mean, you look at his 4 years in the league, the guy has amassed 200 or more carries in 3 of those 4 seasons, including this past year where he had 260 carries, almost 900 over his first 4 seasons in the league.
It's a lot of mileage.
It's over 220 carries a year.
Yep.
Not to mention, he's caught almost 170 passes too.
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing with him is he could fit the system so well. Catching out of the backfield. I mean, he's still somewhat explosive. For my money, I think bang for buck wise, I'm thinking Tyler Algier. That's the name I'd like to really see.
Yeah, I mean, I had Jordan Foote on the morning show on Monday for President's Day. We did like a sort of abbreviated, changed up version. We did 8 to 11, but I had him on. He mentioned Kenneth Gainwell as a potential like bang for your buck guy if you're planning on drafting a running back in April as somebody to sort of pair, maybe like a bridge guy for a year. The thing that what has forced me to have to warm up to the idea of Travis Etienne is the way that his name was brought to me initially as an option for the Chiefs. Like the sticking point, the big pro behind the Chiefs signing Travis Etienne initially to me, and I read it via an ESPN article. I think it was Bill Barnwell maybe that wrote it. He said, the Chiefs make perfect sense for Travis Etienne because he is a tremendous pass blocker. And I said, hold on a minute. I do not. Yes, it's a valuable thing for the Chiefs. I will not argue. The Chiefs should not sign a running back or draft a running back because he's a good pass blocker. Okay? That is not the primary role of a running back.
But that is a big hitch for Andy Reid.
I know it is.
Absolutely is. It should it be?
You've brought Eric Bieniemy back to this
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
You just brought in DeMarco Murray, a guy who has not just experience coaching the running back position, but playing the running back position. In a highly successful All-American in college. He led this league in rushing. He won a rushing title as a back in the National Football League. So I have to hope. I don't believe it, right? It's when I told somebody in the text line earlier. I'm not going to hold my breath. I need to see it to believe it. But I have some level of hope that with Eric Bieniemy and DeMarco Murray now on this staff, the running game will become just a little bit more of a priority for this team. But I can't express any level of confidence in that. And the text line is the same way, right? I'd love it. Somebody in the text line, 816, says, I'd love a hot new running back. But Andy Reid doesn't run the ball, really. So you need a pass-catching running back. Andy never commits to the run. Never feels like a strong word. Over the last 4 years, this Chiefs team has not committed to the run. And I think a huge part of that has been because Isaiah Pacheco was not that good a back. He's not. He runs hard, but he's not overly explosive. He doesn't break tackles with regularity. He can't make guys miss in space with his lateral quickness. And he has lackluster at best ball carrier vision. Let's be completely honest about what the situation was. Your best two running backs in the last 4 years have been Isaiah Pacheco and 30-year-old Kareem Hunt, who came off the couch last season after Pacheco broke his fibula. Outside of that, who'd you have? Jerick McKinnon. Shout out Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon might have been the most effective back of Andy Reid's offense in the last 4 years.
Sadly accurate, yeah. Yep.
And what was Jerick McKinnon really good at? Pass blocking and catching the ball out of the backfield.
Sounds like a Kenneth Gainwell move, if I've ever heard one.
He wasn't a super effective runner. Maybe if the Chiefs bring in an effective runner, like Kareem Hunt was during his first tenure in Kansas City, like Jamal Charles was, like so many of those backs that Andy Reid had during his days in Philadelphia, the Brian Westbrooks, the LaShawn McCoys of the world that he had. I'd like to see a guy like that show up.
All that being said, I think we can all agree, no matter what free agency move they make at running back, hopefully they do, it needs to be paired with drafting for a long-term solution.
I'm
drafting
with you.
A high-end running back somewhere.
Yeah, if you can't get
first or second day preferably.
Yeah, if you can't get a Kenneth Walker or a Breece Hall, which by all accounts it doesn't appear you can, I'm 100% with you. Go get Travis Etienne for $8 or $9 million a year. Go get a whoever, you mentioned Travis, Algier, Tyler Algier from the Falcons. You could probably get him for what, 5 or 6 maybe?
Yep.
And then go find somebody in the third round. I think that pairs really well. I am personally a big fan of Emmett Johnson from Nebraska. I think he is a schematic fit for what the Chiefs do. But if you want to go get the Price, Jadarian Price or Prince, I can't remember. I can never remember his last name. The backup for Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame, or the Singleton kid from Penn State, somebody like that in the middle rounds. I don't know. Is that a real stat? Somebody in the text line just said that Jerick McKinnon benched 225. He had 32 bench reps at the combine.
Look that up. If so, that's impressive.
Why wasn't he running the football more? I can always appreciate giving a Jerick McKinnon shout out. Jerick McKinnon was fun to watch, man.
He was.
Yeah, he did. He at that time set the record at the NFL Combine for running backs in 2014. He bench pressed 225 32 times. That's utterly absurd. He benched more than Saquon. It was broken by Alex Barnes, who recorded 34 reps in 2019. I don't know who Alex Barnes is. 913-586-7965 is our number. More coming up. We got some Royals news to get to. Another spring training game today against the Cincinnati Reds. The result didn't go the Royals' way, but hey, there were some storylines that came out of Arizona this afternoon. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. You're listening to After Hours, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by AB May. Trust AB May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Missouri, get ready. Circus Sports is giving you the chance to win owner Derek Stevens' wallet. From February 3rd to March 15th, you can take home your share of $250,000 in cash. Simply wager $100 and earn one share, wager $1,000 to earn two shares, wager $5,000 for a third share. Bet on anything from pro sports to college, straight bets to futures. Don't miss your chance to cash in and take home your share of Derek's wallet. Visit circusports.com for details. Must be 21 and older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
The only other, I guess, stories of substance to come out regarding the Kansas City Chiefs today, Brett Veach was asked about Trent McDuffie in that situation, said that he's going to be the first guy they get to when it comes to contract negotiations this offseason will be Trent McDuffie. They would love to do everything they can to keep him around with a long-term extension. You know, it says nothing's a guarantee, but that if the Chiefs got their way, it would be Trent McDuffie with this team for the long haul. Brett Veach was also asked about the Travis Kelce situation regarding whether or not his retirement. He said, quote, Travis is the best. He's an icon. We'll just let that process play out. He has sort of a busy offseason coming up with his engagement and marriage, so we want to be respectful and give him the time he needs to make a decision, but we certainly hope that he'll be back. Chiefs pretty much planning for both scenarios, whether, planning for the possibility of him being a member of this team and not being a member of this team. I'm still of the belief that we will find something out sooner rather than later. I mean, the new league year is March 12th?
Yeah, we find out before that.
March 11th.
Yep.
So that's when the new league year begins. March 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So 3 o'clock Central time. I think, and again, I say that, the legal tampering window opens on March 9th. So the Chiefs will certainly need to have the ducks in a row for that before March 9th. And Travis Kelce knows that too. I think the Chiefs would give Travis all the time in the world to come to a decision. Trav has been a consummate professional with this Chiefs organization, and he knows that by giving the Chiefs his answer sooner rather than later, it sets them up more favorably this offseason. If it is retirement for Travis, it gives them more time to prepare themselves for finding his replacement, because I think we can all collectively agree that replacement is not Noah Gray.
Or Kyle Pitts.
And in the event that Travis does come back, they know, okay, we can take a beat if we need it. We don't have to force the issue finding a replacement this offseason if we don't have to. Right? If it falls into your lap and for some unknown reason, Eli Stowers is just collapsing down draft boards and he's sitting there in the 3rd round or something. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's go get that guy. Whatever. Or the guy, I really like the kid from Ohio State. I like his tape quite a bit. But you don't have to find a replacement for Travis Kelce. So I think Travis understands that, and he'll come to a decision. My assumption would be within the next 2 weeks. Before we get to the legal tampering period, we will hear something in regards to Travis Kelce's decision whether to retire or come back to the team for another season. 913-586-7965. We'll get to some Royals baseball coming up next here on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by AB May. Trust AB May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Prostate cancer. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but early detection can save lives. That's where KCUC comes in. They're the premier center for urology and oncology, with over 50 elite providers and more than 20 locations across the metro. KCUC makes it easy to get screened fast in the comfort of an office, not a hospital. Schedule your screening today at kcuc.com. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. kcuc.com. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Liberty Mutual, customize this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Some flavors just take
take you to another place. Like the Filet-O-Fish, a crispy fish fillet made with wild-caught Alaskan pollock on melty American cheese topped with tartar sauce, all on a soft, steamed bun. It's crispy, flaky perfection. And right now, I can mix and match 2 favorites, like a Filet-O-Fish or 10-piece chicken McNuggets for just $6. This deal is the catch of the day. So get to McDonald's fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Kansas City Royals were in action today. Spring training continues down in Surprise, Arizona, as they battled the Cincinnati Reds. And while the Royals did come out on the losing end of a 5-4 affair, there was one major highlight in the game: a 460-foot moonshot bomb by Jack Caglio.
That's right.
Boy, oh boy. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and like absolutely put a seal of guarantee on it by any means, but I definitely feel good about Jack Caglione having a much better year in 2026 than he did in 2025. And by a much better year, I mean, like, I'm not going to advocate for Cags to come out and hit 280 with 40 home runs, but if Jack Caglione could solidify himself in the middle of the order, if he could come in and hit 250 this year,
I'd take it.
Knock 25, 30 home runs out of the ballpark, drive in 80 or more runs, I can't begin to tell you how much of a boost that would be for the Kansas City Royals. Well, actually, I kind of can a little bit, because if you look at the regular season last year, in 2025, the Royals had 3 players that amassed over 20 home runs. They had 4 that hit double-digit home runs. Would you like to guess who the Royals' fifth leading home run hitter was last year? Mike Yastrzemski, who played in 50 games.
It's not good.
He hit 9 home runs. That was the 5th most for the Royals last year. That's the same amount as Jonathan India, who played in 136 games. I mean, Kyle Isbell is not going to hit home runs. He's just not. 4 home runs last year in 135 games. You brought in Isaac Collins and Lane Thomas. Those 2 guys are speedsters. They're contact bats. They're not going to generate 20 or more home runs in a season. If Jack Caglione can come out this year and hit 20 or more home runs, drive in 80 or more RBIs, the Royals could have 4 guys in those 2 categories, with Cags joining Bobby Witt, Salvi, and Vinny Pasquantino. You got 4 guys on your roster that are hitting 20 or more home runs a year, if those 4 guys could combine for 100 or more bombs and 300 or more RBIs, maybe more than that, I would say more than that. I would say closer to 400 or more RBIs.
Yep.
You're in a really good spot.
Yeah, and I think you're right in the fact that he'll have a better year because the depth of the lineup with some of these off-season signings will provide him maybe a little, hopefully, a little bit more on paper, will provide him a little bit more protection in that lineup to where, the back half of this lineup last year, I mean, it was just, you had your 3 major hitters and that was essentially it. So maybe a little more depth in the lineup this year will maybe give him a little more protection, not put so much pressure on him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this team and I'm thinking about Bobby Witt Jr. is a bona fide superstar. He's a top 3 player in this sport. He's maybe the best all-around position player in Major League Baseball. He's a better fielder than Judge. He's a better base runner than Judge. Vinny Pasquantino is coming off of the best year of his career. 32 homers, 113 ribbies. Can Salvador Perez hold off Father Time for another season? Time will tell on that one. Michael Garcia is coming off the best year of his career. I have said before, I don't expect Michael Garcia to hit 286 again. But if he could settle into being a 270, 275 hitter with an OBP somewhere around 335, 340, it's a really good place for Michael Garcia to sit in. Cags comes out this year, he hits 250, 28 home runs, let's say, 85 or 90 RBIs. And then you add in Carter Jensen. If he can hit the ground running with the way he played last year at the end of the season, that all of a sudden, those guys are a handful for any lineup. I think Isaac Collins pairs extremely well with the Kansas City Royals and extremely well with Kauffman Stadium, with how wide the outfield is for a guy with a decent amount of speed to be able to generate doubles and triples and extra base knocks for this Royals team. I still think that Jonathan India will have a better year this year. I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that he will play better than 233, where he hit a season ago. He walks a ton. And then it's a matter of, can Kyle Isbell show up? Can Kyle Isbell play anywhere near the level that he played at last year where he hit 255? I think that is very much the potential of your everyday lineup if you're the Kansas City Royals. If Cags can build and have a better year in year 2 than he did last season, which I 1,000% believe he will, this team has a chance. This lineup has a chance to be pretty damn good and show everybody that maybe they didn't need that big outfield bat that we so desperately thought they did. Comparing Judge to Bobby Witt is apples to oranges. Yeah, I get it, but I'm saying from an all-around position player standpoint, what Bobby Witt Jr. does from a fielding perspective at shortstop is better than what Aaron Judge does from a fielding standpoint in right field or center field. I don't know. Hitting 255 for a center fielder is laughable, though. Why is that laughable? I'm genuinely curious because just looking at the numbers from last season, there were 6 center fielders in Major League Baseball that hit over 255. 7 if you count Kyle Isbell. Andy Pages led primary center fielders in Major League Baseball last year in batting average, hitting 272. So I think I'm more than comfortable with a center fielder hitting 255, especially if he is playing Gold Glove caliber center field. I think this team is going to be really good. I think Jack is going to be really good, and I think Carter is going to be very good as well. If Carter Jensen plays this season like the way he played the end of last season, he'll become the everyday second base or catcher for this Royals team sooner rather than later, I believe, and will allow for Salvador Perez to become this team's everyday DH. I think Jack has 25 homers and 70 RBIs this year. That would be outstanding. Jack Caglione hits 25 home runs. I would be extremely unconcerned about what his batting average shows. He could hit 220 for me. But if he has 25 home runs and 70 or 80 RBIs, okay. You got a run producer in the bottom of the lineup then, which you currently, last season you did not have. You had guys that would occasionally get on base in the bottom of your lineup, but nobody that was a threat to drive in a guy from second base, let alone third base. Somebody said, if you're starting a franchise right now, you're taking Ohtani or Bobby first overall. Yeah, I would. And I mean, for no other reason than frankly, just from an age perspective. I mean, Aaron Judge is 33 now. Bobby's 25. Hey, why don't you take the superstar that's quite possibly not even in the prime of his career yet versus somebody who may be on the tail end of it? Ohtani is the best, not even close.
That's fair.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We can all agree on that, I think.
I've said this before on this program, and if you disagree with me, that's okay. I'm of the opinion that Shohei Ohtani may be the best ever.
I was going to say, I don't even know if in our lifetime if we'll ever see another Ohtani.
He's the closest thing we've seen to Babe Ruth. And the difference is Babe Ruth wasn't doing both at the same time. Babe Ruth was a pitcher and then a hitter, not a pitcher and a hitter simultaneously. The guy hit 50 home runs and struck out 200 batters in the same year. Excuse me? I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. The league average is 250 at center field. Well, that's not what ESPN is showing me. Among qualified players in Major League Baseball last year that play center field, Andy Pages, Jackson Chourio, Julio Rodriguez, Young-Hoo Lee, Byron Buxton, and TJ Friedl were the only guys that hit over 250. Again, among qualified players, which Kyle Isbell didn't even fall under this qualified category of 3.1 plate appearances a game. Somebody said, I trust your Royals judgment. You were spot on last season. Thanks. I wasn't entirely spot on. I said that they were going to be a little bit worse than they were back in 2023. I thought they were an 84-win baseball team. I wasn't quite spot on. They were 82-80, but dude pitched 6 shutout innings, struck out 9, and hit 3 homers in a playoff game. Yeah, in the same game. Think about that for a minute, dude.
Insane.
That might be the single greatest performance in the history of sport.
Correct.
The guy, he won the game pretty much single-handedly.
Not pretty much, he did.
Like, he dominated the bump and produced his own runs to go along with it.
Yeah.
It was a one-man wreck. I've never seen an individual win an entire game by themselves.
Not in baseball. Not like that. Not in baseball.
Yeah, it was the most outrageous thing I've ever seen. Yeah, another person pointed out that game he had 3 homers and struck out like 10 was insane. Yeah, and doing it in the playoffs, like in the postseason.
On the biggest stage, correct.
Doing it in October is absurd. Was that an NLCS game, maybe? I don't think it was a World Series game.
Look it up.
Ohtani 3 home. Yeah, it was game 4 of the NLCS last year. Mind you, The guy hadn't pitched like all year because he had Tommy John surgery. And he just comes out in the postseason and says, ball. I'm going to go out and do this thing my damn self. I'm sorry. I know that there's baseball purists out there who are disagreeing with my sentiment. You know, there's the Babe Ruth purists.
Yeah,
there's the Ken Griffey guys. You know, there's those Barry Bonds people out there, right? And prior to the arrival of Shohei Ohtani, I was in that boat of Barry Bonds is the greatest player to touch a baseball bat. Like, he might be the best pure hitter in the history of the game. I still believe that. But there has never been a player who dominated the sport the way that Shohei Ohtani has, doing it on the bump and in the box, on the base paths, all at the same time. The guy's outrageous. 6 shutout innings of baseball, struck out 10 players, went 3 for 3 with a walk and 3 home runs. Huh? Became the first player in MLB history to record 10 or more strikeouts and hit 3+ home runs in the same game. You think? Has anybody ever attempted that? I mean, yeah, he is. I think he's the greatest ever. And he's only 31 years old, so he's still got plenty of time. That's going to be the downfall, I think. When we look back, when we're having this conversation 15, 20, 25 years down the line or longer, when people are having the GOAT debate and they're saying, well, Barry Bonds hit 763 home runs. Well, Babe Ruth hit 700 home runs. Well, Ken Griffey hit 6 whatever, right? When we have these, Mike Trout is another one. You know, if it weren't for the injuries, Mike Trout would be in those conversations. He's the best player of my generation before the arrival of Shohei Ohtani, without question. What I think might end up being the downfall for Shohei Ohtani was that he just didn't start early enough. Right? He came over to the States in 2018. I think he was like 23, 24 years old at the time. Came out and hit 285 as a rookie. If he had been drafted at 18 years old or made an international signing at 16, he might have been in the majors by the time he was 19 or 20. He may not reach those career milestones that some of those other guys did in terms of the statistical accolades. The guy's got 4 MVP awards in his career. On top of the fact that the guy's finished in the top 5 of the freaking Cy Young Award voting. Mike Trout is not in the home run contest. Shut up. You don't know baseball. I didn't say he was. I said Mike Trout would be in the GOAT conversation had it not been for the injuries. I never said anything about Mike Trout and home runs. I think you're concocting something in your own brain just to argue. But, you know, that's entirely your prerogative, big dog. Trout's got 404 home runs in his career. 3 MVPs. And he'd have a hell of a lot more than that if it weren't for the injury bug. Name of the game. 913-586-7965 is our number. So, Buster Olney of ESPN has begun his top 10 lists for Major League Baseball this season in 2026, but position by position. And he has already come out with a handful of the position groups. The outfielders and designated hitters will come out later on this week. I believe corner outfielders is tomorrow, center fielders on Thursday, DH on Friday. But every other position is out. And there are several Royals players listed in Buster Olney's top 10 lists. We'll discuss that next. Julio Sanchez alongside Logan Weber here. After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by AB May. Trust AB May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
We've all been there. You wake up and your knees give you that not today feeling, and it's frustrating and exhausting. Honestly, it's unfair. Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. Yeah, I didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel way older than you actually are. QC Kinetics patients are getting relief, feeling younger, and jumping back into life at full speed without surgery. The medical professionals at QC Kinetics use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science. They take the tiny, powerful healing tools already inside your body and concentrate them right where you need relief. The sooner you start, the sooner inflammation eases and joint damage slows down, because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate. Your consultation's free. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Hey, it's Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And Rob, I'm Scott Parks from Dana and Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC will feature the biggest names who made the World Cup in Kansas City possible, plus the biggest storylines heading into this summer's tournament. This is not a podcast about soccer. Don't get us wrong. This is a podcast about Kansas City. This is a podcast for Kansas City. And this is a podcast that'll tell the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes will be released every Wednesday starting on March 4th, as well as video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ's social channels.
Subscribe and download to Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series with myself, Rob Bretton, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. All you need to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. NBA Futures, lock in your pick on who you think is going to go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or win the Western or Eastern Conference. Maybe you think that San Antonio is going to upset OKC out west. Maybe you got any idea who's going to come out of the Eastern Conference. Maybe you like Boston with the possible return of Jason Tatum. Whatever your bet is for the future, visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Remember, play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 of President, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit 1 entry. For profit boost token. Opt-in required. Must apply profit boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again. So call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Kansas City, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch all your favorite shows right from your phone, computer, or tablet. Every day, we stream the shows live on YouTube, plus clips from the biggest moments and biggest guests. Hit that subscribe button so 96.5 The Fan goes right to the top of your feed. In your car, on your phone, or on your computer, we are everywhere. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
We've got Jalen Thompson of the Kansas City Star at 7:30 tonight. More baseball news. Buster Olney has been coming out with his top 10 rankings at each position group in Major League Baseball. We'll discuss that, as well as an award presented to Bobby Witt Jr. today as well, making the rounds in the news cycle. But before we get to that, I want to take a few minutes because I feel like I need to tell my side of the story. So, Monday morning, I'm listening to, because during the day, I substitute teach. So I'm in my car, I'm driving to school Monday morning, and I'm listening to this station right here, 96.5 The Fan. And I'm hearing Bob and Dusty, like as I turn my car on, say my name. I'm like, what could they possibly be talking about right now? Because a couple weeks ago, they'd been talking about sending me to the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. I'm like, nobody's told me a thing. What? And they are going on a tirade, roasting me because I had thrown my food away in the studio Friday night. And Bob's like, it stinks in here, and take your food out, eat out in the bullpen. And I'm sitting there with no means to defend myself. So I take this opportunity now to defend myself.
Okay.
Friday afternoon, I shouldn't say Friday afternoon. My Friday last week was nuts. I grew up, I
hear excuses already, but continue.
Hey, man.
Go ahead.
I had to sub Friday morning. So I was at school at 7 a.m. I got out of school at around 3 o'clock. Well, that was Royals' first spring training game. CDOT was out, and so Rob had asked me to come in and be ready in the event that the Royals game ended early and we needed to do more of after hours. So I said, okay. So 3 o'clock, I get out of school. I hop in my car because it's, almost every bit of an hour to get from the high school where I was subbing at and then moving to the station. Every bit of an hour. So I stopped and grabbed myself Culver's. I get here at 4 o'clock. It's the 9th inning of the Royals game. So Rob's like, you're going to be on in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay, great. So I didn't have a chance to eat my food before the show started. Because I get on, I'm on the drive starting at like 4:20, 4:30. And then I was on air until 9 o'clock Friday night doing after hours. So yes, I ate my dinner in between segments or during interviews here in the studio because I had no other means of eating my dinner. So I apologize if my food being in the trash can after I was done eating it bothered you in some small way.
So can I, not to pile on here, but would it have been possible to throw that food out in a different trash can, not in the studio?
Do what?
I'm pretty sure I just spoke English there. Could you not have? I think you heard me. Could you not have thrown it out in the trash can out in the bullpen or something?
I probably could have.
Okay, I'm just asking. It was just a question.
That thought had
Just
not
a question.
occurred to me at the time.
Yeah.
I was just
now I feel like you got to
busy,
do it
man.
out of spite. Now you got to do it again. Just
I
out of
considered
spite,
it. I strongly considered it.
Just to teach them a lesson.
That was under consideration.
They
just
didn't
like,
have to throw you under the bus on air. They could have said something at any point off air for the first time. You know?
I'm just gonna start grabbing stuff out of the trash at my house and just relocating it to the trash can in here so that they can enjoy it the next morning.
I'm for it.
I'm not gonna.
Little chaos. Why not?
I'm not that nice. I'm not that mean a guy. I'm sitting there like, damn, guys, I didn't even get it. Like, can I explain myself first, please? Like, yeah, you're right. I probably could have thrown my food away in a different trash can somewhere else in the building. I really wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about, like, I have to eat something. Like, I had to get some food down at some point. I don't know. Maybe that was selfish on my part. So I apologize to those guys.
I mean, really, the worst part of that is that you had leftover Culver's that was in the garbage to begin with. Culver's is delicious.
There was no food left.
There shouldn't be anything left.
It was just the remnants. It was just the bag in the box and the drink.
It couldn't have been that bad. It could not have been that bad.
According to them,
it sounds
it was
like
bad.
they're being drama queens. That's what it sounds like to me.
Dusty said the mic smelled like onions. which may very well have been the case. I don't discount that.
I
There was a
mean-
burger. There was onions on my burger. That might have actually been a
Strong
thing.
breath, you know?
It's a fair point. I did what I had to do, man.
Sounds like they're being a little overly dramatic.
I might have to start coming up with some interesting food concoctions to bring in here, just to make them angry, just to see what
we
kind
should.
of reaction I could elicit from them.
Let's start a little show drama. You know,
I'm just gonna
keep
start
things
it.
interesting. Why
I'm just
not?
gonna start an inter-company war.
We're in the entertainment industry. People would enjoy that. You know,
It's just
Why
gonna be a war of smells
Let's
around
do
this
it.
studio.
Let's do it.
And unfortunately, Alex and Cody and CDOT may end up
I was
just
gonna say.
they're just gonna end up victims to
I
this
think we'd
to
have
this
the
crime.
advantage. We'd have the advantage to
Just
that.
unbeknownst bystanders to this just disgusting
little collateral
smattering
damage.
of scent
Who
everywhere.
cares? That's fine.
913-586-7965. Jalen Thompson of the Kansas City Star coming up next here on After Hours. Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by AB May. Trust AB May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show February 27th through March 1st at the Overland Park Convention Center. Grab front door bonus golf while it lasts. Enjoy the Vital Stretch Zone, Saturday's women's events, and test big brands with Golf MD at the Golf Show February 27th through March 1st. All at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to Genesis of Kansas City, Orange Whip, RMI Golf Carts, Arnold Palmer Spiked, Yingling Flight, Hereford House, Alabama Golf Trail, Edward Jones, and Tito's Vodka. Special tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Don't let winter catch you off guard. Keep your family cozy with a $69 heating system tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. We have pros available 7 days a week to keep your system running at peak efficiency, helping prevent costly breakdowns, lower energy bills, and keep your home warm all winter long. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
This year, flavor doesn't walk. It runs wild. At P.F. Chang's, we're charging into the year of the horse with bold new wok-fired dishes like pork belly bao buns and refreshing cocktails like the Midnight Gallop. P.F. Chang's beloved red envelope tradition returns, adding a surprise element to every visit during the Lunar New Year. Each guest receives a red envelope revealing a special offer redeemable on a future visit. Celebrate the Lunar New Year with flavor that runs wild at P.F. Chang's. Valid for dine-in only while supplies last. Details at pfchangs.com.
Last Friday on the show, I had a chance to visit with Jalen Thompson of the Kansas City Star right after the Royals had their first spring training game against the Texas Rangers. And we talked about first game of the year, guys working out the kinks, and what it's felt like in Arizona over the last couple of weeks, guys that have stood out to him and what some of his expectations are for this team moving forward. We even talked a little bit about the stadium situation because he had a chance to visit with Royals chairman John Sherman. We began the conversation talking about that game on Friday, Rangers-Royals, and what it felt like for him and for everyone else being back out on the diamond.
It was pretty good, Logan. You know, seeing what the Royals were doing out there on the field, you kind of got a sense of what this team can be if the offense is clicking and making the right adjustments at the plate like they did this offseason to drive some runs in. You saw Salvador Perez hasn't missed a beat. It's pretty cool to see that he's in year 15 and he can still hit a baseball 400 and some feet and be the captain that everyone knows and loves, right? And then you have Michael Massey, who's looking to have a bounce-back campaign himself. He has a home run today, so it was really good vibes, a lot of good, clean baseball for the Royals. So let's see if they can keep it up moving forward this spring.
So yeah, it's spring training, so it's hard to really dive into the numbers behind a game like this. But, Kolek goes out and throws 2 good innings, and then you just have a smattering of different relievers. Was there any guy on the bump today that kind of stood out to you as somebody that, even though it's only game 1 of spring training, put their best foot forward for potentially making this opening day roster?
Yeah, it's hard to just look at one game in Cactus League play and say this player or that player has a chance to make the roster. So I'll give you more of a holistic perspective just from the first couple of weeks in camp. Obviously, Stephen Kolek was great out there today. He pitched around some traffic on the base pass, but he was able to, limit the damage and really worked on some of his stuff that he was working on this offseason and early in camp. You saw the fastball velocity had picked up a lot. I think a lot of that comes down to just being amped as you're making your first start of the spring and you're facing live hitters for the first time that aren't wearing your jersey. It's another jersey that you're out there going against. So I think he looked well. I think that Jose Cuas, he looked well as being out there on the mound. It's big for him to come back to the Royals organization. He was away for a bit. Now he has a chance to potentially earn a spot in the bullpen if things should break that way. A couple other guys just from in camp that I've watched and I've really thought had really shown a lot of, moving forward what they could be for the Royals. I think Bailey Falter has looked well, and, he's going to get a chance to start on Sunday to be out there and pitch and see what he can do to navigate this role that he could be in with the Royals. Remember, he's out of options, so he's going to have to make the team. Otherwise, the Royals have to make a decision on that. I think you've seen Ryan Berger. He's been great. And so I'm just naming guys that are in that pitching depth mix that could potentially either make some starts in Kansas City this season or be needed if a guy goes down, like in the rotation.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's way too early to be having, conversations of this sort. But it was interesting to me looking at the lineup. You saw some of those guys in their everyday spots to begin. Michael started at third base, Vinny at first base, Salvi started it behind the dish, Jack Caglione started in right field. But then you saw, Michael Massey starting at second base and not Jonathan India, Lane Thomas in center field, not Kyle Isbell, Nick Lofton in left field and not Isaac Collins. What can you tell us about why we didn't see some of those guys to begin spring training today?
You'll probably see those guys either tomorrow or Sunday. You don't want to put your full starting lineup out there on day one of Cactus League play in spring training. So what the Royals kind of did was they kind of just split up. Some of their top guys are in there, and then they'll just rotate how they would, right? Bobby Witt Jr. didn't play shortstop, but he was the DH today. And I think you also saw a lot of those guys like Jack Caglione and Vinny Pasquantino and Salvador Perez and Michael Garcia alongside Bobby in the lineup because they're going to be in the WBC. So they have to see live pitching and get their timing down and get their routines down because it's more important for them to do that now before they go off and represent their home countries and try to win a WBC title. So that's kind of the reason why you saw most of those main guys, those regulars in the lineup, because they want to get them as many at-bats as they can before they go off and have to play in high intensity, high competition against guys from other countries around the world.
That's a great answer. So looking at this team outside of just today's game, what you've seen since you arrived down there in Arizona and since the team arrived, who are those guys right now that have really stood out to you, maybe during live BP sessions or some of those, full slated games, those scrimmages and things like that have taken place? Who are the guys that are really wowing you, whether it's at the plate or in the field?
So I'll give you a couple of names. I mentioned some of the guys in the starting rotation earlier, but if we're looking at offensively, I think you're really going to see a great season out of someone like a Jonathan India. And I say that because his mentality is really so much that he wants to show the Royals. He wants to show Royals fans. He wants to show this organization that they made the right decision in trading for him. He wasn't himself in 2025, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. He said that he looked at some film of his game, and he didn't recognize who that was in the batter's box. Some of his expressions and some of those things that made Jonathan India himself, he didn't see when he watched himself back on film. So this year he comes into camp, he cut off his signature hairstyle. He's got a shorter, clean-cut look now. He's more excited. He's excited to be in Kansas City, be with the Royals. He's adjusted. He feels comfortable. He had a really good offseason, and a lot of what the coaches have said is he's in a really good headspace. And if you're in a good headspace and you're playing baseball, you tend to have good results that follow. So I look for Jonathan India to show why he was the rookie of the year when he came into the league, why he was a guy that consistently played relentless and played just aggressive baseball. And I think you're going to see that out of him. So I think Jonathan India is someone that I'm really excited to see what he can be in 2026. And also from the pitching side, Alex Lang has looked really good. He has great command. He has great velocity on his pitches. And I think that he's someone that could really help elevate that bullpen. We know he can do it because he's with the Detroit Tigers and he was great in that closing role. I think he just adds an extra element to the Royals bullpen that they're really going to be excited about. So those are two guys, just one offensively, one in the pitching staff that I thought really could be difference makers this year.
The Royals did make some news today outside of that 7-3 win against the Rangers. It was reported earlier today that they signed a deal with Elias Diaz, a former All-Star catcher. And so, looking at this move, they re-signed Luke Maile to kind of come in and potentially be a third catcher candidate for this Royals team if they elect to do that come opening day. How do you think Diaz factors into the mix, and what do you think the likelihood is that Matt Quatrero and this Royals coaching staff elect to carry three catchers, on this Royals roster during the regular season?
I don't know so much that they'll carry three catchers to start the season. I think that they are content with having Salvador Perez and Carter Jensen be the guys behind the plate. But in spring training, you need catchers to catch all the different arms that you have in camp. So most of your team is going to be made up of pitchers, right? So you need so many different catchers to catch the pitchers and make sure they get their work in, whether it's in backfields, whether that's in inter squad games, whether that's a split squad. You just need catchers, right, to be able to handle that many pitchers at one time. And I think for Diaz, it allows him to come over to the Royals, learn the organization, and if he chooses to stick, he could probably be someone that's organizational depth that they could use because you always need to have experienced catchers in case anything happens. We've seen, Salvi might get nicked up from time to time. He might need a guy that can come in and be a backup while he tends to an injury or something like that. So it's always good to have a backup catcher that you can depend on and just be able to know how to call a game, run a game, because you're going to need that throughout the season. You just never know what might pop up.
From what you've seen out of this team thus far, you've written some interesting articles here about spring training. You came out with an article yesterday talking about the 3 things that you've been hearing from spring training this week in particular. What are some of the things that have stood out to you so far? Things you've seen, things you've heard that maybe have added a level of confidence for you with the Royals going into 2026?
I think for me, it's the attention to detail on just the fundamentals and making sure that they hone those things back in to get back to being what Royals baseball has always been about, which is playing good defense, having great pitching, playing the game at a fast and aggressive level. They saw some times last year where the base running blunders and mistakes kind of crept into things. Well, the Royals have made sure they hammer down on what they expect the guys to do in different situations and scenarios on the base paths. I think you've seen them hammer in on just the fundamental side of going first to third and, knowing where the baseball should go when a bunt is placed down and things of that nature, things that you just got to drill in PFPs and, in infield drills and that nature, outfield drills. I think that's key because if you look at where the Royals were last season, 82 and 80, they were only a couple games away from being a potential wildcard team and being in the postseason, right? So how can you marginally get better and do the little things well so that when you are in those one-run games where those mistakes can really be magnified, how do you make sure you don't have as many of them? So I think the fundamentals is key for them this season in spring training, and I think that you're going to see it on the field. And secondly, I would have to say that I just think that the offense, they were serious when they said they raised the floor. And you look at the guys they brought in, Lane Thomas, Isaac Collins, those guys know how to play baseball. They're scrappy guys. They're guys that they're going to come in and they're going to do their job. And I think for the Royals, if you're going to surround the team around your core of Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Garcia, Salvador Perez, you got to have guys that can leap in that lineup. And I really think that those vets that are coming in can fill some of those gaps where maybe the Royals was relying on inexperience at some point of last season. And if you need to turn a lineup over, could you count on a younger player to do that before you get to Bobby Witt Jr. and then Garcia and Pasquantino and the like, Salvi, So I think they have those veterans that can do that now. So that makes the lineup that much more dangerous. And also, I think that it's going to come down to the young guys, too. Jack Caglione, Carter Jensen, are they going to be able to uplift some of their play to help match what the veterans are putting out? If they can, this Royals team can be dangerous.
Have you heard anything more recently about a possible stadium decision from John Sherman or the greater Kansas City area? Is there a likelihood that we could hear something of substance maybe before spring training concludes?
Yeah, we talked to John Sherman earlier this week, and he was saying that a decision will come sooner rather than later. That's been his stance, right, where they want to put the stadium. But he acknowledged that there's an urgency to find a stadium location and, let fans and let the city know where they're going to put this stadium. But it's a lot of factors that go into this stadium, right? So they have to really research and evaluate so many different locations, whether it's on the Kansas side or whether it's on the Missouri side. I thought it was very interesting that said that John Sherman, he has a bias for putting the stadium in where the culture is vibrant in the city, right? The heart of the city. And I just think that whether that's downtown, whether that's in the Northland, North Kansas City, wherever it may be, they have to decide where they want to put the stadium. And it's going to make people happy wherever it is. It's going to make people upset. I've said that before on your platform. But the Royals have to they have to do what's best for them. They have to make sure that the timing is right, and they have to stick with whatever decision that they make. And if they do that, then it's just going to be where it's going to be. They'll be happy, right? People are they're going to understand, like, hey, this is where your stadium is. They still love the Royals, and then I think that's the key focus. Keeping the Royals as the key focus of this stadium is wherever it may be. It's your future home or your Kansas City Royals, and it's time to support it. So I think they're going to come to the decision. I asked Sherman directly. I said, are you going to have a decision before the end of the 2026 season? He said he should know way sooner than that. So I'm operating on that timeline, honestly.
Very good. All right. Appreciate it. Jalen Thompson of the Kansas City Star joining us. Jalen, insightful as always. I'm sure you had to enjoy your 65, 70-degree weather day down in Arizona for that baseball game while the rest of us are sitting here in freezing weather in Kansas City.
I will say this, Logan. It was feeling really good, but the wind, it was a little cold this morning. I mean, the wind was blowing. So, I mean, I still got a little Kansas City weather, but, it's going to warm up.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by A.B. May. Trust A.B. May to keep your home warm for 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems. Call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Belden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think is going to go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title, a tight race in the East or a race in the Western Conference. Maybe you want to look at some of the futures now post-trade deadline. Did Cleveland sell you with the James Harden trade that you should be making a bet on them to win the Eastern Conference? Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit one entry. For Profit Boost token, opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry, at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
We'll get to Buster Olney's top 10 lists here in just a little bit. Earlier today, Sean Payton, of course the head coach of the Denver Broncos, announced that new offensive coordinator Davis Webb will be the play caller for the team moving forward.
Interesting.
Newsworthy considering Sean Payton has never not been the play caller of his teams since he became a head coach back in 2006. All the way back during his days with the New Orleans Saints. He has been the play caller, was the play caller for all those teams. He's been the play caller since he's been the guy in Denver. He's going to be relinquishing those duties now to Davis Webb. Seems like an interesting choice after they moved on from their offensive coordinator this year. Maybe it was because Sean Payton didn't trust him to call plays. Maybe he has more faith in Davis Webb. Maybe that was a part of how they got Davis Webb to take the offensive coordinator. I don't know.
Well, there was some interest in Davis Webb as a head coach in certain positions, right? So
yeah, he interviewed for the Buffalo, Baltimore, and I think Las Vegas jobs, all three, as a quarterbacks coach.
Yeah, so maybe this was, part of the agreement on him becoming in the OC. Makes sense. I'm just surprised he would relinquish play calling duties.
Yeah. When asked about it, he said, quote, "It's easier to do as you get older and you look at it like, how do we win more games?"
I mean, look, I'm not the biggest fan of his by any means. I think he's actually a jerk, but maybe there's some individuals that could maybe locally here take a look at that, and maybe it kind of makes you think that, if he's willing to take a step back and do that, maybe it's time for some others to potentially do that.
I see what you're hinting at.
Okay.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, no.
I see where you're going with it. That's for sure. 913-586-7965. Let's talk Royals. Let's talk KU. Let's talk Mizzou. Tigers with a massive game against Tennessee, which should be tipping off here in the next few minutes. Could have major implications on their chances to make the NCAA tournament coming up here in the month of March. Stick around. You're listening to After Hours. Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by AB May. Trust AB May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Hey guys, it's Rob Brennan from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the upcoming World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dane and Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC features the biggest names who helped make the World Cup in Kansas City possible. And there was a lot of work, plus the major storylines heading into this summer's tournament.
This is so much more. This isn't just a podcast about soccer.
No, you're right, Rob. It's a podcast about Kansas City, for Kansas City, telling the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, along with video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
So make sure you subscribe. Download Beyond the Pitch KC with Rob Brennan and myself, Scott Parks, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
He's a husband, a dad, owner of a gym. He's also a police officer. Staying strong and pain-free isn't optional. It's safety. That's why David Boardman's a QC Kinetics patient.
My job is dependent on my physical ability and my physical fitness so that I can protect myself, so that I can go home safe to my family at the end of the night.
But severe knee pain nearly took that away. Doctors said surgery, shut down the workouts. David needed another option. That was QC Kinetics. They told him,
we're going to give you the opportunity to have not one, but two healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
They used David's own healing tools in his blood to help restore his knees. Regenerative treatments right in the office.
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week.
Trust the team helping active people avoid surgery. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays. That's what I do. I love it a lot. Live betting and more. Earn BetMGM reward points on every single bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else. And keep an eye out for your rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. So again, sign up with bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsible. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Stay warm and worry-free with Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Get a new furnace absolutely free with the purchase of select HVAC systems. The pros at Hamilton make upgrading easy with flexible financing, expert installation, and energy-efficient options that can help lower your monthly energy bills. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. Our text line, 913-586-7965. Huge game in Columbia, Missouri tonight as the Mizzou Tigers host 22nd ranked Tennessee. And when you look at this Mizzou team, right, they are firmly on the bubble right now, according to most bracketologists. They're 18-9. Currently sitting at 8-6 in the SEC, so they're in the top half of a pretty good league this year in the Southeastern Conference. With 4 games left and sitting at that 18-9 record that I mentioned, for Mizzou to solidify themselves, right? For them to be a guaranteed, bona fide, no doubt NCAA tournament team, and I was talking with Carrington about this right as prior to this show ending or beginning and his show ending. I think they have to go 3-1 over these last 4 in order for the SEC tournament to become not meaningless, but certainly less consequential for your NCAA tournament chances. I've used this stat before, and I can't remember which publication it was that I found it on, but they had gone back over the last 30 years of college basketball history. And over those 30 years, they had come to the conclusion, the numbers said 89% of teams that won 21 or more regular season games made the NCAA tournament. 89%. And of the roughly 11% that didn't, the vast majority of those, 9 or 10% of that 11, those were mid-major schools competing in one or two, maybe even two-bid leagues that just didn't have the firepower to get in. A 21 or a 22 win team out of the the Atlantic East Conference or the Missouri Valley Conference, leagues like that will typically only get one team in the NCAA tournament, and that's the team reserved spot for whoever wins the conference, right? The conference tournament. So if you're a power major conference school like Missouri and you get to 21 wins, you stand a closer to 100% chance of making the NCAA tournament. You go 3-1, that gets you to that 21 win regular season plateau. It also gets you to an 11-7 record in the SEC, which guarantees that you're a top half team in the league. You're looking at this last 4 games. You've got a quad 1 win against Vanderbilt already on your resume. You've got a quad 1 win against Florida as well as Kentucky already on the resume. You go 3-1 over your last 4. That would have to include either a win at home tonight against Tennessee, a win at home on March 7th, your last game of the regular season against currently 20th ranked Arkansas, if not maybe both. Like maybe you win both of those games and then you split road games between Mississippi State and Oklahoma. So you have an opportunity to get to 21 wins overall. Finish 11-7 in the SEC, which is a really solid league top to bottom this year. And pick up at least 1, if not potentially 2 more quad 1 wins in the league. And you're looking at the 2 home games you've got left, or 2 road games, I should say. Mississippi State and Oklahoma. They are a combined 6-22 in the SEC. You win both of those games you are supposed to win, even though they're on the road, and pick up a W either tonight against Tennessee or March 7th against Arkansas, it's going to be really hard to keep Mizzou out of this field, even with a bad non-conference schedule where you have no notable wins, a bad loss. The road loss at Notre Dame is not a good loss by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, just check out what Duke did to Notre Dame tonight. Beat them 100-56.
It's a massacre. That's correct.
They're 12-16. This Notre Dame team is. That's a bad non-conference loss. You lost to KU. You had a chance at a marquee win. You lost a neutral site game against Illinois, which could have been a marquee win, right? Your non-conference schedule did you no favors. But going 11-7 in the SEC and picking up ranked win after ranked win, quad 1 or quad 1A wins along the way, gives you a really good shot. Am I confident that Mizzou can go 3-1?
I was going to say that's a tall task, man. I mean, you're talking about two top 25 teams. In Oklahoma, while they're not spectacular, they've been on a bit of a run here lately, and that's no give me either. That's no give me either. So
yeah,
I mean, at worst they go 2-2, but they have to then do some damage in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, and trying to beat Tennessee tonight is probably the tougher game between they and Arkansas. They've won. I mean, Tennessee's won 8 of their last 9. Jacoby Gillespie is playing lights out. If I remember right, is Jacoby Gillespie, did he play at Maryland, I think, at one point? Yeah, he did. Okay. Started his career at Belmont and then played at Maryland, and now he's finishing up his career at Tennessee. So, I mean, maybe Arkansas is a better opportunity.
Yeah, and they played well against Arkansas.
Yeah, lost to them by 8 on the road. A game that, you really had a good shot of winning. You were right there, if not right in the game, in the lead for a good chunk of that basketball game. You just kind of ran out of gas in the second half. You get them at home in a game where, say you lose to Tennessee tonight. I'm not saying that is going to happen, but if you lose to Tennessee tonight, you go on the road, you beat Mississippi State, you go on the road and beat Oklahoma, and your chances of making the NCAA tournament were to skyrocket, go from 50% or 40% to 95, 99% if you beat Arkansas at home in Mizzou Arena is going to be rocking for that game because Mizzou fans are, they're good fans and they know what's going to be on the line for that matchup. It's going to be an interesting stretch for the Missouri Tigers, and I have to say things are not off to a phenomenal start in that basketball game. Tennessee's jumped out to an early 9-2 lead there. Across the border, across the state line on the Kansas side of things, big ol' win for your Jayhawks yesterday, Julio.
That's correct. They needed it after they dropped that Cincinnati game.
And this is something that I wasn't incredibly... I didn't know this prior to the game on Monday. My younger brother is also a Kansas fan, and he brought this up to me on Saturday. It's currently, until somebody does it, it is a statistical impossibility to beat the Kansas Jayhawks on a Monday night in Allen Fieldhouse. KU beats Houston last night, 69-56. Since Bill Self became the head coach at the University of Kansas, this basketball team is 41-0 in Monday home games.
Insane.
That's absurd. And I mean, just look at what they've done this season, right? On a big Monday, on January 13th, they blew out Iowa State. KU was a 3.5-point underdog. Jayhawks win that game by 21 points. About a month later, February 9th, 2 weeks ago, number 1 and undefeated Arizona comes to Allen Fieldhouse. 30 minutes before the game, Darren Peterson has the flu. He's not going to play. I was here doing the show. I hammered Arizona at -5.5 when the line shifted.
Thank you.
It was at -2.5. When it went to -5.5, I hammered Arizona. I'm like, without Darren Peterson, there's no way.
Can I make an admission here? I haven't told a soul this. In watching that game, I specifically wanted to see Darren Peterson and what he was going to look like against Arizona.
Yeah.
When I found out 10 minutes before the game that he wasn't going to play, I had to find my inner soul and do some soul searching to even want to watch the game.
You almost said, no, I'm not going to do it.
Screw it. Like, I don't even.
Early bedtime for me.
Yeah, I'm out.
Well, good thing you turned it on.
I did.
It was a hell of a basketball game.
Start to finish. So,
and that I may have hurt some KU fans by saying that I took Arizona money line in that basketball game.
No, rightfully so.
When Darren Peterson, 30 minutes before tip-off, is announced as out, I couldn't imagine a scenario where Flory Badunga and Bryson Tiller scored 41 combined points. I just didn't. That scenario never crossed my mind. Like, I never thought Flory Badunga, who has had a great year,
spectacular, especially on the defensive end.
I say a lot of things that don't end up coming to fruition. Let's face it. That's part of the thing in this business. You throw out an opinion, something that you think might happen, and it doesn't. I said before this season started that I thought Flory Badunga was going to make a jump from year 1 to year 2. Be a defensive player of the year candidate in the Big 12. Be a all Big 12 level guy. I don't know if I expected Flory Badunga to be this much better on the offensive side of the basketball.
Yeah, agreed.
He's been, obviously Flory's he's not averaging 20 points a game by any means, but 14 a game while shooting almost 68% from the floor, still has no three-point shot to speak of whatsoever, and really is highly inconsistent when he's not shooting, within 8 feet of the basket. But
doesn't need to.
You pair that with 9 rebounds a night and damn near 3 blocks.
That's insane.
He might be the defensive player of the year in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean, and Bryson Tiller's development as the season has gone along, it really kind of started that week. It started with the game at K-State, had a really, really good game in that one in Manhattan, and then followed it up against Arizona. That game last night against Houston, outside of Trey White, had almost nothing at all to do with the offense. You know, Darren did not shoot the ball well. Flory did not shoot the ball well. Melvin Council did not shoot the ball well. It came down to how good they were defensively, especially on the perimeter. I mean, there were a few open looks that Houston got that they just flat out missed. But my goodness, I mean, active hands defensively, they were making, they were always in position, it felt like. And it's evident with the stats of the game. I mean, Houston shoots 32% from the floor, not 5 of 24 from behind the arc. And this is a Houston team that for the majority of this season has been a very consistent three-point shooting team. And maybe the most impressive feat of all of this, how good Kansas was defensively, the physicality, the level of aggressiveness they brought on that side of the floor, and doing it without fouling.
Yep.
Houston shot 9 free throws last night. That's how many fouls Kansas committed. 9 as a team for the entirety of the basketball game. And to bounce back in that sort of fashion after you got embarrassed against Cincinnati, all this media scrupulous about Darren Peterson in the past week, you know, Bill's having to speak on it. Darren himself is having to speak on it. To go out and beat this Houston team by double figures, really impressive. And I don't, I mean, I know that there's the Kansas people, or, you know, the non-Kansas people, I should say, are going to be like, well, they'd already lost 2 in a row before that game. Yeah, to the number 6 team in the country in Iowa State, at Iowa State, and they played a much closer game than Kansas did. And then they lost at home by 7 to Arizona, who has bounced back in a major way in their own right after losing 2 in a row. Give credit where credit's due for how that Kansas team played last night.
I think those few things that you pointed out as far as the losing to Cincinnati and the Darren Peterson issue, I think that was actually more of an advantage going into that game than not, right?
Interesting.
Losing to Cincinnati, I think, put a little bit of pressure on them. They kind of had to take that one.
Yeah, lit the fire a little bit.
Correct, lit the fire, and the whole Darren Peterson thing. That was, all of him being put on blast nationally, I think has put a little bit of pressure on him. That hey, there's no more of this half in, half out situation. Like either you're all in or you're all out. And I think at this point, I don't think it's been talked about enough, but in the aspect of he's hurting his stock at this point now. I mean, he's not going to be the number 1 draft pick because you can't count on him to be consistent with his play. I mean, and the fact that I think what really hurts him the most is that this is an exceptionally deep draft. I mean, you're talking any other year, there's 3, 4, maybe 5 players that could go number 1 overall. I mean, this is not the draft to be kind of half-assing it.
Yeah.
Throughout the season. This is an all or nothing thing. And at this point, this deep into the season, man, like you either put up or shut up. You're going to end up being 3rd, 4th, 5th pick in the draft if this is how you're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this field, and you're right. In comparison to other seasons, like last year, everybody and their mother knew it was going to be Cooper Flagg.
Right.
There was just no question. Cooper Flagg could do what Darren Peterson is doing this season, and nobody would have batted an eye because it was just so obvious to everybody Cooper Flagg's the best player in this draft. He's going number 1 overall, right? Victor Wembanyama in past drafts, those sorts of things. This year, you're exactly right. The field for this draft is ludicrous when you're looking at Darren Peterson, and you're looking at Cam Boozer and A.J. Debinsa, which I love A.J. Debinsa from an athletic standpoint, as a bigger 3 in the league. his jump shooting is what's going to, I think, prevent him from being a number 1 overall pick. And that's some of the problem with Cam Boozer. You know, he doesn't have a consistent ability to stretch the floor as a 6'10" power forward in today's NBA where it's 5 out, you know. If all these players on a level playing field, Darren Peterson's the number 1 overall pick. But is
on
this
a level playing field? Is
this off the court and, let's face it, on the court drama going to prevent that from happening? Caleb Wilson, the 4th overall pick from North Carolina, they're dealing with a similar situation with him where he's missing time, and it's sort of this weird, man, I love the Kingston Flemings kid at Arizona. I really like Mikel Brown Jr. out of Louisville.
Agreed.
He to me screams prototypical modern NBA point guard. He can dish the rock, but dude, I watched that guy put nearly 50 on NC State a couple of weeks ago. I mean, just hitting it from everywhere. And let's not forget this kid from Shawnee Mission, Kansas,
right?
Who goes to Illinois after neither school in the state offers the kid, right? Bill Self says no thank you. Jerome Tang says no thank you. Keaton Wagler says fine. I'm going to go to Illinois and potentially be the player of the league in the conference as a 3-star from Shawnee Mission, Kansas. Okay. I do say, I will be I will say I have my concerns about Keaton Wagler. Like, I love him as a player, as a college player, but there's just something about him that feels very like,
I don't know if it translates.
Yeah, like do you remember Johnny Davis at Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Phenomenal college player at Wisconsin. He was Big Ten Player of the Year. People fell in love with him in the draft. It just felt like he was never going to click. Jaden Ivey is another one. You know, it just coming out of Purdue seemed to be this can't miss guy, and it just never. I don't know. I get those kind of vibes from Wagler of like, I don't know if he's physically ready for it, and the NBA is such a I need to see it now. It's becoming such a I need to see it now kind of league that may end up hurting him quite a bit. I don't know, but that's 7 names I just threw out of guys that could be in contention for the number 1 overall pick that shouldn't be if Darren was just healthy and playing and not whatever this media circus is that's surrounding it. But it's kind of the position he's put himself in.
Yep.
Because he hasn't spoken publicly about it. Bill's not speaking publicly about it. It's a mystery to everybody. And, like Bill last week saying like 70 or 80% of the things that I've heard aren't true.
That still leaves a lot, though, to be true.
So, Bill, that 20% that is true, could you tell us what that is?
Yeah.
And he's not going to, for one of, I think, 2 reasons. Number 1, it either makes him look bad, Bill look bad, or it makes Darren look bad.
3, you can't do that when it comes to recruiting other high-level players.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, and I think that number 3 pairs directly with number 1 or number 2. Because if it makes Bill look bad, recruits aren't going to want to do it.
Yeah.
If it makes Darren look bad, and Bill's the one that says it, it's going to make Bill look bad because he just came out and said that. He just put one of his own players, just put their head on a pike for everybody to throw tomatoes at. Guys aren't going to want to show up. And right now, they seem like the favorite to land that Stokes kid who's the number 1 player in the country for the 2026 class. It's a whole thing. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not an NBA GM.
Look, it's not good to be compared to a Ben Simmons at this point,
Valid point.
Do you love it? Do you love basketball?
913-586-7965 is our number. We got some messages in the text line I want to take a look at. I also want to talk about Buster Olney's list. I've been procrastinating that. He's got these top 10 lists of every position, and there are several Royals listed on his top 10 list that I want to discuss. That's next. Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez, After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by A.B. May. Trust A.B. May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, We were too nice to say no. Now get a small coffee, just 99 cents. Limited time only. See store for details.
Hey, it's Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And Rob, I'm Scott Parks from Dana and Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC will feature the biggest names who made the World Cup in Kansas City possible. Plus, the biggest storylines heading into this summer's tournament. This is not a podcast about soccer. Don't get us wrong. This is a podcast about Kansas City. This is a podcast for Kansas City. And this is a podcast that'll tell the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes will be released every Wednesday starting on March 4th, as well as video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ's social channels.
Subscribe and download to Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series with myself and Rob Bretton on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Liberty Mutual customized this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Sex, intimacy, love. These three things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts, with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think is going to go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title. A tight race in the East or a race in the Western Conference. Maybe you want to look at some of the futures now post-trade deadline. Did Cleveland sell you with the James Harden trade that you should be making a bet on them to win the Eastern Conference? Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit one entry. For Profit Boost token, opt-in required. Must apply a Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry, at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You already listen to 96.5 The Fan, but are you following us? Our Instagram is loaded with show clips, breaking news, mock drafts, and content you can get on the air, like Thy Royal Decree and Chiefs Take Tuesday. Go to Instagram, search for The Fan 965, and hit that follow button. If you don't do this immediately, Dusty has threatened to do a photo shoot in a bathing suit. Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Somebody in the text line asked me about Iowa's chances of making the NCAA tournament. Got about 90 seconds here. I'm not going to turn down the opportunity. They're better than Mizzou's right now, but they're not a guarantee. I think Lenardi had them as like an 8 seed or 9 seed in the latest bracketology that he put out. They're somewhere between that 7, 8, 9 seed line, depending on where you're looking. 19 and 8 at the moment. I think that the same situation applies to them that applies to Mizzou. If you can get to 21 wins in the regular season, you've got a really, really good chance of getting in. That's going to be a tough ask over the last 4 games for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They've got a game tomorrow at home against Ohio State, who is literally right behind they have the same record in the Big Ten right now. They're both 9-7 in the league. And right now, Iowa is holding on for dear life to the 8 seed in the Big Ten, which would get them a first-round bye. So they got them at home, which is a good sign. They're going to be favored tomorrow. You win that game, then you go on the road on Saturday at Penn State, who is the worst team in the Big Ten. They are 2-15 in the league. You win those 2 games, the last 2 don't matter. But if you say you lose tomorrow against Ohio State, you've got your work cut out for you to win one of the last 2. They've got Michigan at home on March 5th, who up until losing to Duke on this past weekend was the number 1 team in the country. And then they've got Nebraska on the road. They beat Nebraska earlier this year, but they did it in Iowa City. Now you got to go to Lincoln and beat them. I'd much rather just beat Ohio State, beat Penn State, really shore up your NCAA tournament chances. And then, hey, if you can beat Michigan or Nebraska to close out the year and really, really just absolutely put yourself in that lock category, great. But I feel better about Iowa's chances of making the NCAA tournament right now than I do Mizzou's, but
that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say I'm about 40% confident in Mizzou making the NCAA tournament, and I'm probably closer to about 60% confident in Iowa.
I'm there with you. I'm there. Who, real quick, who's the better conference right now? Big 10 or Big 12?
It's a really good question. I think I would say the Big 12 because
I think that's the right answer too.
It's such a top-heavy league. Like the Big Ten's going to get more teams in the field because it's a deeper league, top to bottom.
So?
I think it is.
I think it's the opposite of that.
I mean, you're looking at what, maybe 7 teams from the Big 12 get in. Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, for sure. UCF, they're 19-7 right now. I think they've got a really good shot to get in. Then it's TCU at 17-10, West Virginia 16-12, and nobody else behind them is getting in.
Yep.
So I think 7 teams is probably best case scenario if you're the Big 12. The Big 10 could get as many as 10 or 11 teams. The problem is the Big 12 is so talented at the top end of the league. When you look at, I mean, you've got 6 teams in the top 20 of the standings right now. The Big 10 has 5. Now, all 5 of those teams are in the top 13. Michigan at 3, Purdue 8, Illinois 10, Nebraska 12, Michigan State 13. Wisconsin is like right on the cusp of that. They were in the top 25 last week. They're not this week. And then you've got UCLA, Iowa right behind them. And then Ohio State, Indiana, and USC is going to be fascinating to see what happens with those 3. Because, I mean, Ohio State and Indiana both are already at double-digit losses. USC is 18-9, which is solid, but their non-conference schedule was pretty laxed, and that's because that's a huge part of why they're 18-9, because they didn't. I mean, their best non-conference win is Seton Hall. Outside of that, Boise State, maybe? Like, they're 18-9 because their non-conference schedule wasn't super strong. Not that Iowa's was strong by any means either, but they've gotten more Big Ten wins because they're 9-7 in the league. USC's got a losing record in the Big Ten. That might be enough to keep them out. I would say the Big 12 is the better league. But if you disagree, it's hard to argue with you because the Big Ten, I think, is going to get more teams into the field than the Big 12 is. 913-586-7965. I feel like I procrastinated this for an hour. I'm going to get to Buster Olney's top 10 when we come back. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by A.B. May. Trust AB May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
When it was time to paint the inside of our home, we made one call, and that was the Certa Pro Painters, and the experience was amazing. They took all the stress about the job away from me, and they'll do the same for you. And now's the time to get that painting project completed that you've been putting off. Each Certa Pro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. So schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose Certa Pro Painters.
This is an important message for anyone struggling with $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans. Due to ongoing inflation, job loss, and the rising cost of living, many Americans are facing overwhelming credit card balances. If you're drowning in credit card debt, you may qualify for powerful debt relief options currently being offered by National Debt Relief that can significantly reduce what you owe. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a debt consolidation loan. You could qualify for this debt relief option and only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe. Act now to see if you qualify. With thousands of 5-star reviews online and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, National Debt Relief has helped over 1 million consumers with their debt that qualified for this relief option. So don't wait. Call the Debt Reduction Hotline now. Dial 800-428-5757. 800-428-5757. That's 800-428-5757.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
If you follow baseball, and I'm sure you do, you'll know that Buster Olney of ESPN is one of the most respected voices in the sport. Well, over the last week or so, he's been doing his top 10 at every position in Major League Baseball. He began with starting pitchers, and I think maybe surprised some people by putting Tarik Skubal as his number 1. I don't disagree with that. You know, him and Paul Skeens are 1A and 1B. No matter how you slice it, one of those two has to be at the top of the list always. Skeens was his number 2. His explanation was, it's because Skubal's left-handed. They have really similar stats. Their analytics are borderline the same. Skubal doesn't throw as hard, but his breaking stuff is much more effective. He's a better control arm than Skeens is at times. And he's a left-hander, right? I mean, he is also on the verge of accomplishing something that only 2 other players in the history of baseball have done. Win 3 consecutive Cy Youngs. The only other guys to do it, Greg Maddux and Randy Johnson. And they both did it in the National League. Well, I think Randy was sort of split between his time in Seattle and then Arizona. So I guess he kind of bled over into both leagues. But just a primary American League arm to win 3 consecutive Cy Young Awards. That's the trajectory that he's on. He just won back-to-back Cy Young Awards, which hasn't been done in the AL in 25 years. There's obviously no Royals that are on the top 10 for starting pitchers, but he does have Cole Reagans as an honorable mention on the list, saying Kansas City swap with the Rangers for Reagans for impending free agent Aroldis Chapman is one of the best trades of the past decade, in that it was a huge benefit to both teams, right? It was the immediate help that the Rangers needed, and it aided them in winning a World Series, and it was the future help that the Royals needed, finding an ace for the top of their rotation. He then came out with the next day with his top 10 relief pitchers in Major League Baseball, and no Royals are listed, which surprises me a little bit, considering Carlos Estevez led Major League Baseball in saves last year. He's not even an honorable mention here, you know? Like, I would say he's borderline top 10, but to not even be on the honorable mention list, I find that to be a little bit insane.
Agreed. Yeah.
Not to mention, Lucas Ursig had a great year last year. They brought Matt Strahm over from the Phillies, who's been a perennial all-star as a relief pitcher. Kind of surprised that none of those guys made the top 10 for bullpen arms. He then had his top 10 catchers list. Salvador Perez was not in the top 10. He was listed as an honorable mention. And this is an important distinction. It's important that I read his little excerpt about Salvi, because it may get people a little bit less riled up. Says, the future Hall of Famer, agreed, Buster, thank you very much. War can absolutely kick rocks. I don't want to hear the argument.
Yep.
Crushed 30 home runs last year, pushing his career total to 303. He'll be 36 years old in May, and while he caught 115 games in 2025, the Royals' intention is to deploy top prospect Carter Jensen behind the plate much more this year. Perez will be listed among the designated hitters in these top 10 lists. So, Salvi, while he's an honorable mention at catcher, he does make it sound like he is going to be in the top 10 of DHs in Major League Baseball this year. So,
that's fair.
It made me a little bit less angry for why Salvi wasn't in the top 10, because I was in the same boat you were. I was like, excuse me? 30 homers? 100 ribbies? No, not in the top 10? That's insane. Kind of gave us an explanation. Like, he's sort of splitting time between catching and DHing. So that may be where he leans now, especially with the emergence of Carter Jensen. I'm hoping for that. I think that's the best case scenario for the Royals.
Agreed.
Carter Jensen becomes the everyday guy behind the dish. Let Salvi just worry about the plate. Just let him worry about hitting balls. That's
Agreed.
it. Came out with his top 10 first baseman in Major League Baseball. No need to fret. Vinny Pasquantino is in the top 10, squarely at number 10. After a string of injuries, Pasquantino stayed on the field in 2025, finished with 66 extra base hits, 113 ribbies, and an OPS plus of 120. Played 126 of 160 games at first base, but he could have more time at DH in 26 as the Royals rely more on Carter Jensen behind home plate, and Salvi could play more games at first base. Interesting. You know, I mean, looking at the names that are ahead, Michael Busch of the Cubs, who hit 34 bombs last year. He had a 500 slugging. Rafael Devers of the Giants. More of a DH, but hey, it's all right. It's all right. I'll let it go. Josh Naylor of the Mariners. I think a huge part of that is what he did after he went to Seattle, and especially what he did in the playoffs. Bryce Harper of the Phillies. Seeing Bryce Harper as a first baseman on a list is just mind-boggling to me. Freddie Freeman, Pete Alonso. Interesting. Nick Kurtz of the A's. Can't argue with that. Arguably one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen. Matt Olson of the Braves, and Vladdy Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays. I can't argue that Vinny's ahead of any of the guys on that list.
Agreed.
I mean, the only one that I would necessarily push a little bit would be Rafael Devers because he does DH a lot, but I don't have much of a problem with it. Top 10 second baseman, no surprise. There's not a Royals player listed here. Not even remotely close. Guy that maybe could have been Luis Arias. The Royals definitely could have afforded to bring him over in free agency. He's an honorable mention. He gets so much hate because he doesn't hit home runs, but God, he hits for contact and he never strikes out. Ketel Marte was the number one second baseman in baseball on his list. And then the shortstops. Nope. Sorry. Got ahead of myself. Third baseman. Number 5, Maikel Garcia. Number 5 on the list.
I like that.
60 extra base hits. 170 hits total for the season. OPS plus of 123.
That almost seems high, man.
Not to mention Gold Glover at third base with 13 runs saved and outs above average at 18, both of which were the best among third basemen in baseball. He hit 286, OPS plus of 123, and you're the best glove at third base in Major League Baseball. I like that he's fifth on the list, ahead of names like Matt Chapman, who is arguably the best glove at third base in baseball today, above Bo Bichette, now a member of the New York Mets, above Austin Riley. I think a huge part of that is because Austin Riley had a serious injury that curtailed his entire season. Carlos Correa, injury is another concern there. The guys ahead of him on the list, Manny Machado of the San Diego Padres. Alex Bregman, okay. All right, fair. Junior Caminero of the Rays, who just crushed baseballs last year. And, of course, the best third baseman in baseball, let's all say it together, Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians.
So Buster really thinks he's going to have a similar year this year to what he did last year.
If that's the case,
I really hope so. I really hope so.
If that's the case, the Royals may be better than I think they will be.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody in the text line earlier was asking. I said 88 to 94 wins, and I lean towards 90 or 92. I don't know if that's going to be enough to win the division, but it's certainly enough to get them a wild card spot and push Detroit at the top of the league.
Yep.
They'll finish second in the division with that record. And then the coup de grace. Buster Olney came out today with his top 10 shortstops in Major League Baseball. He did not mess it up. Bobby Witt Jr. is number 1 on the list.
Heyo.
Here's how he starts the sentence. He checks every box. That's how he begins his excerpt about Bobby Witt Jr. Elite defense. The kind of hitter who can anchor a lineup, power, and lots of speed. After a 9.4 WAR season in 24, he generated 7.1 last year, third most in the AL, and would have been enough to lead the National League. He led the majors in hits and doubles last season. He also had the best defensive metrics of any shortstop and stole 38 bases. He is clearly very good at everything, is how Buster Olney closed things out talking about Bobby Witt Jr. Geraldo Perdomo of the Diamondbacks finished second. Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles third. Gunnar Henderson had a really bad year last year. Francisco Lindor below him at 4, followed by Corey Seager, Trey Turner, Jeremy Pena, Mookie Betts, Ellie De La Cruz, and Willie Adames. Good for you, Buster. I think those are extremely respectable lists that Buster has put together so far. There's not really been one that I vehemently disagree with.
It's certainly much better than what MLB threw together a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was atrocious.
Yeah.
That was absolutely abysmal. Or 2 years ago when they didn't have Bobby, going into last season where they didn't have Bobby Witt Jr. listed as the best shortstop in baseball.
Yeah.
Coming off of what may be statistically the best season by a shortstop in the history of the sport. And he's not okay, sure, man. Just a 9 WAR and a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger at the catcher at shortstop is not good enough to be the best shortstop in baseball. Okay. Only led the league in hits, but I digress. 913-586-7965. Take a break. Close things out tonight on this Tuesday edition of After Hours. Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by AB May. Trust AB May to keep your home warm. For 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems, call 913-732-9993 today. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show, February 27th through March 1st at the Overland Park Convention Center. Get front door bonuses like 5 Great Life golf rounds, Golf to Mules National, free balls, sim time with Barry's Golf and Groove, and Birdie's Indoor Golf. And get an Advent Health Championship ticket, all while they last. Saturday the 28th is Women's Day, presented by Elevated Home Team and Keller Williams Realty Partners. Test drive Callaway, Mizuno, Cleveland, and more with Golf MD. See the new RMI carts. Play the Edwards Jones Straight Drive, Genesis of Kansas City Long Putt, and the Midwest Golf Innovation Simulator. Get lessons with Imperial Golf. Roll it with Extreme Green and Evolve putters. Relax in Yingling Flight's 19th hole. Savor samples from Tito's Vodka and Booth Creek Wagyu. All at the Golf Show, February 27th through March 1st at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to Lake of the Ozarks Golf Trail. Visit Mississippi, Old Kinderhook, and Mulligan's Country Club. Kids under 12 are free. Tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Physiotherapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays. That's what I do. I love it a lot. Live betting and more. Earn BetMGM reward points on every single bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else, and keep an eye out for your rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. So again, sign up with bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsible. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Let's close things out tonight with a little congratulations to one Bobby Witt Jr. Not only was Buster Olney listing him as the top shortstop in Major League Baseball. He earned a pretty impressive honor this morning out at spring training in Surprise, Arizona. He was presented with the 2025 Lou Gehrig Memorial Award, which is given to the MLB player who best exemplifies the giving character of Lou Gehrig. Sponsored by the Phi Delta Theta International Fraternity, which apparently Lou Gehrig was a member of, it's been presented to one player every year since 1955. Bobby has become just the third Royals player ever to win the award, joining George Brett in 1986 and Salvador Perez, who won the award back in 2021. Cool part of it, there was a Royals superfan, Sarah Nasser, who was there, as well as, of course, Salvi, because he was there with all of his teammates, and George Brett, who was in attendance as well. So, picked up the honor next to the two guys in the history of the Kansas City Royals who have also earned that honor in their careers.
Good company.
Absolutely is. Nasser, a Royals superfan, was diagnosed with ALS in 2018 as a former police officer in Kansas City. Bobby talked about how, special it was to be presented with the award with her in attendance. For my producer, Julio Sanchez, I'm Logan Weber. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for getting involved in the text line as always. I'll be back with you on Thursday, but tomorrow, Jay Binkley, After Hours, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by A.